Today I'm channeling my inner fire god with nothing but a Ferro Rod Kit, because I need to know, does coffee brewed over real flame actually taste better? Durable dads, brothers from other mothers, and sisters from different misters, thanks again for tuning in. Today's mission is quite simple. We're going to make fire with this Ferro Rod Kit, courtesy of FIREWURX, to test out the theory that coffee perked in a perk pot tastes better over real flame. Okay, I know a camp stove will make delicious coffee, but there's something primal to actual real flame. And since we happen to be in a window where there's no provincial fire ban on, which is quite strange for this time of year, I thought I'd seize the opportunity and make a coffee and test out said pot in more natural conditions. That, you know what, if you watch my videos, and I'll include the original video in the link when I tested this sucker out, I've made fire with a Ferro Rod exactly once, and I sucked at it, and it was a bit of a hack job. So today we're going to bone up this particular technique, because it really helps to be able to do this and be able to make fire on command with the simple tools that you have. Sometimes your lighter isn't gonna bum out, or it gets wet, or something happens. That, and it looks just kind of, you know, a little bit bushcraft studly to be able to start a fire with a ferro rod. So for the oohs and ahs of my family, and just to have a valuable technique under my belt, I'm going to go a practice run, and I'm going to treat myself to a coffee in a beautiful spot. Inks Lake is 20 minutes out of town, and real easy, low-hanging fruit. All right, I need a coffee. I'll stop talking and get into some more action. Catch you next clip. Okay kids, here we are at Inks Lake, and here's our loadout for today. Today's objective is to make fire with this here Ferro Rod, courtesy of Jeremy from FIREWURX. And I brought a backup lighter just in case. So a knife, the old trusty knife, to make up some shavings to help speed this along, the hatchet, all this EDC and coming out of the adventure kit, which I've already made to make up a little kindling to help this along. And there's more. I've also got some wood, and of course I've got the coffee and water to put this sucker out and make coffee and clean up, coffee fixins, and a grate to put the pot on instead of directly in the fire, courtesy of my barbecue. Thanks, barbecue. All right, let's get this on the road. Okay, for maximum efficiency, to get this started, it is a little bit windy today, and I want to look as good as possible. So what I'm going to do is make the conditions as good as possible. Now, what I advocate is shavings. Take this trusty knife, which also has a ferro rod built in, and make a bunch of shavings. The easiest thing to start your fire with. Now I better be careful, maybe do this on top of this, because this table is courtesy of Dawn. Anyways, I'm not going to put you through the painful process of watching me make a bunch of shavings. Okay, but the thing is, the trick, or one of them, is to make as much shavings as possible, and then have your kindling at hand, like right away, as soon as that catches. All right, now to help this along, I've got some of this action right here, which is wax and fuzz essentially, but it catches fire quick, so I'm not going to mess around. I could bust out the fat wood. I'm thinking about it. That might be something I resort to. Let's see how this comes out. Anyways, catch you next clip when I'm ready to start this bad boy. Okay, here we are. Now, like I said, it's windy. Now it's good to have this kind of stuff. You want to get it, kind of tear it up a little bit as much as possible, kind of shred it, and don't be afraid to use this stuff up. Have some on hand, because this is the stuff that really takes the spark. All right. Now, I'm not entirely convinced I'm going to get this first off. So I'm going to load it up and set this aside. All right, here we go. My striker and the ferro rod. Let's see what we can do. Oh, here we go. Not bad. All right. Let's get the kindling on this ASAP. Nice. Well, how's that for technique? Okay, I don't want to add too much right away. I do have another stock. This looks like it's going to go very nice. Now, I advocate to any dad, to the outdoor dad, to be able to have this technique in your back pocket, and to teach your kids to be able to do this at a moment's notice. This is common bushcraft knowledge. It's Bushcraft 101, and a hell of a fun thing to teach your kids how to do. Anyways, I'm going to let this fire get going and go start setting up to get coffee ready. Okay, the fire is burning merrily. The water is all ready to go, just in case. Coffee fixins. All right, let's make up some coffee, shall we? Okay, the reason why I chose Ink Slate wasn't just proximity. I mean, it is awfully close. However, it does have a built-in fire pit, which is nice and handy, so I didn't have to go collect anything, and it was ready to go. And usually people leave some wood behind, so I had an extra source of wood and kindling, which is pretty awesome. Thank you, people. So in turn, I'm going to leave some wood behind me too, just to keep it for the next person that wants to come up here and do something like this, or have a fire after a fish. Okay, I learned my lesson. See, the grounds are actually on the table and not in there. Okay. All right. And that's doing quite well for itself. Look at that fire. Okay, and I am ready to be able to douse this sucker. I packed in lots of water just in case. So we're going to do our usual ratio of 6. I guess this thing says it's 7 cups. So we're going to do 7 cups. Guess that looks about right to this. And I don't want to have this fire on any longer than I need to. So I'm going to, and that looks to be stoked enough for now. Let's have a look. Yep, that looks like it's okay. Let's get the grate on and this doing what it's doing ASAP. Okay, I know that that thing is rugged enough to go directly in the fire if needs be, but a grate is a little bit more elegant. Now this is going to get some coloring in it, because you know what, usually this goes over coals, but that's not where we're at today, and we're going to do it as quick as possible. So over the open flame it goes. Generally, a little tip for you guys is to put this over coals, have a little bit better setup for your grate. But again, this was just a let's do coffee with fire. Okay, it's looking like it's going good. I'm not going to be able to go anywhere really because I got to babysit this fire. While I'm thinking of it, instead of having to run over to this thing all the time, let's have this full and ready to go, not only for my hydration purposes, but also it gives me a little time to kind of douse the fire if it starts getting out of the way, and then unscrew this so I can just start fire hosing and things. Anyways, always have enough water on hand to take care of what I need to do, what you need to do. The lake's right there, but you know what? I'd much rather keep this clean and hydrate and ready for potable water instead of dousing it in lake water. Catch you in a bit. Out here, gear either works or it doesn't. On Durable Dads, we test it before we trust it. And sometimes we screw it up, so you don't have to. If you're into real gear, real coffee, and real adventures, hit subscribe and join our crew. We drop new videos every week. So time check, it's 3:43. This is Inks Lake, or Inks Pond is more actually a better description. I'll give you a little panoramic of it in all its glory. Anyways, this went on about 3:40. Let's see how long the open flame, and it's being subjected to it right now, takes to get this thing up to boiling. Again, we're going to go with the next 15 minutes for brew time. Okay, here's your gratuitous nature footage. Okay, there's a camper down there. Looks far away from this perspective. Yes, the wind's terrible right now. I apologize. But it's really not very far away. We'll give you a little panoramic shot here. I am disturbing another guy in his travel trailer right now with my talking and my video shooting. So I'll try to pull out stakes as quick as I can. But yeah, there's your gratuitous lake footage of Inks Lake. So remember the game, what did I forget? Well, nothing dire. I remembered a cup. This time my to-go mug, which is, so I'm getting better. Bonus, I totally fully meant to bring a camp chair with me so I could just kind of sit here and enjoy my coffee and enjoy the view a little bit better, because there are no benches here. But I forgot that. I got busy packing everything and got into logistics. Oh, well, next time. But that is definitely going to have to be one of the EDCs for in lieu. Okay, about 5 minutes left to go in the brewing cycle. I want to get this done as quick, as dirty as possible. But for right now, my barbecue grate, what I'm smelling is burgers, smelling the coffee, and smelling campfire smoke. I am in heaven. Okay, you guys, it smells ready, and it is time. It has had its 15 minutes. Now, it's vitally important that you have something cover your hands. Do not forget that while you grab this thing, because it's piping hot. Okay, let's get this and set it aside, because it is too hot to put anywhere and too hot to drink currently. Oh, there we go. Awesome. So let's get to putting this sucker out, because it's no longer needed, and I want to make this as short as possible and as safe as possible. So let's get the initial dump and douse right now. There we go. Now, I would say we should do this one more time, because I don't trust that. Like I said, this is August. We're lucky because we've had enough rain that there's no fire ban, but I leave nothing to chance. Let's get this doused, and once we've got cleaned up, we'll fire hose this sucker again. Always have enough water on hand to take care of any kind of emergency, and to make sure that this fire is absolutely out once it's served your purposes. Okay, I have improvised a little something to put the pot on, because it's still really hot, so it doesn't melt the table here, but It's time to enjoy some coffee. Again, it's the afternoon coffee. No, this isn't decaf, so I've done it to myself again. Anyways, we're gonna try and find out if fire brewed coffee is better. I know that the BioLite employing fire makes an absolutely delicious cup of coffee. So my only assumption is, yes, this is a different methodology, but is it the fire? Do you know what I did forget though? I forgot the spoon. Nice. Okay. What are we gonna do? Oh, I know. We're gonna be rustic. We're gonna have our coffee shaken, not stirred. Yes, daughter's thermos once again. No, I haven't done that. Okay, that looks about right. So what are you going to do out in the wild? Well, this isn't wild. But what I'm about to do could be construed as wild. Doing this. Ha! Ha ha! See, that's the art of being a durable dad. You screw it up, and then you find a way to fix it. Okay. I am going to do a first sip, but you need a better camera angle for that. Going once, going twice. Oh, and gone. Okay, to the gods. All right, maybe Mother Nature is dying for a cuppa. Okay, there you go, Ma. Enjoy. Okay, coffee is made. Cleanup has been done. And I have enough water for my own personal hydration. The rest, we used to douse this. And that, good people, appears to be quite out, just the way we like it. Okay, kids, there you have it. The fire has been made, the coffee has been brewed, and the fire has been doused. Now, the question remains, does coffee made in a Perk Pot over fire, other than propane stove, make a difference? Well, let's find out. $1 million question. And primal forces of fire for the win. Okay, this might be my imagination, but I do taste something different. It does taste better, and it tastes better because there's a little bit more satisfaction to it. Fire is almost always better. Food tastes better. Why can't coffee? So yeah, and the fact that I got to reuse and refamiliarize myself with a ferro rod and striker, which didn't take me very long. I did it perfect, right on. Hooray to me. Anyways, this was meant to be a quick and dirty excursion to somewhere local just to make this cup of coffee. That's been done. I'm going to leave you with a few preachy moments. First of all, this is August. I made a fire. Not illegal, but also a huge responsibility. And I try to be very mindful about fire safety, no matter what I'm doing. And as a dad, that's something that I try to impart to everybody, and including my kids, because this nature kind of belongs to all of us, and it's incumbent upon us to treat it with respect and to make sure it's beautiful for everyone. Okay, I'm done preaching. Now I get to go pack this stuff up and get to the dirty work of enjoying the view and enjoying this coffee. Anyways, here's me keeping the coffee warm, hot, tasty, fire brewed, and the gear dirty. My hands sure are. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. See you soon. Peace out, Scout.